So now from here onwards, what we'll be focusing mainly on is the unit circle. So the concept of unit circle, I mean, we already will have certain idea from our previous background. So let's just first understand what exactly is the unit circle. So let's say suppose if you got a circle with the radius 1, we simply refer this as a unit circle. So if you got this as a radius, this is the origin. So this coordinate is basically 1 comma 0. This coordinate is gonna be 0 comma 1. This is gonna be negative 1 comma 0, and this is gonna be 0 comma minus 1. So this is your basic coordinate system. Your unit circle. This is starting reference point, which is 0 degree angle. Then you have this angle is 90 degrees. This is 180 degrees. This is 270 degrees, and this is back 360. So if you go anti-clockwise, your angle is taken as positive. If you go clockwise, your angle is referred as negative. So anti-clockwise is always positive angle. So suppose if I go 30 degree clockwise, so this angle will be somewhere here, which is will be saying negative 30, not positive 30, because if you go clockwise, your angle is referred as always as negative. If you go anti-clockwise, your angle is referred as positive. So anti-clockwise angle and clockwise angle, a lot of times we make mistakes. So just understand that this part is, if you're trying to measure an angle which is anti-clockwise, it will be taken positive. Clockwise angle is taken as negative. Now what is more crucial and important point is understanding and decoding this unit circle. So let's say if I pick up a value, let's say if I take an angle, for example, if I take an angle which is somewhere in the first quadrant, suppose the angle is here, this is the first quadrant angle. So now if I take this angle as theta, any particular angle theta, so you'll notice that this angle that we have has this as the x distance and this as the y distance. So the coordinate of this point is going to be basically, coordinate of this point is, let's say x comma y. So that's your x comma y, the general coordinate. So what we have is, we have got cos theta. If I apply in this triangle, since hypotenuse is 1, since it is the radius of the circle, so cos theta is going to be adjacent upon hypotenuse, which is x upon 1. So x equals to cos theta. And similarly, if you look at the opposite side, which is basically sin theta, is y upon 1. So whenever you're writing the general coordinate of any point, either you write as x comma y, or you can write down this as cos theta comma sin theta as the general coordinate. So cos theta, since you can see that x coordinate is given by cos theta and y coordinate is given by sin theta, hence the general coordinate of any point along this unit circle becomes cos theta comma sin theta. Now this gives us an kind of insight, or you can say this gives us at least the basic understanding about how to measure the sine and cos ratio. So in simple terms, wherever the angle is, so suppose if an angle is here, suppose if an angle is in the second quadrant, and I wanted to find out sine or cos of this angle. So suppose this angle is somewhere 120 degrees. Now by default, my x coordinate of this is going to be, this x coordinate is going to be cos of 120 degrees, and this y coordinate is going to be sine of 120 degrees. So x is cos 120 and y coordinate is sine 120. Now the question here is that how do we measure cos 120, sine 120? I'm going to touch base upon this in a bit. But firstly, anywhere you take the x coordinate of the angle, x coordinate of the point along the unit circle will be cos theta, and y coordinate is going to be sin theta. Now suppose, let's say I wanted to find out sine 120, cos 120. How do we basically do that? Now before I go ahead, I want to kind of just review on the first part, which is like how do we measure the basic angles. So you got to remember two triangles. let's say the first is the 30, 60, 90 triangle. So 30, 60, 90. And then you have 45, 45, 90 triangle. So 45, 45 and 90. So in 30, 60, 90 triangle, there is a specific property, which is if I take, let's say, hypotenuse opposite to 30, you take the side length is 1. Opposite to 60 is root 3 and hypotenuse is 2. And when you have 45, 45, it will be 1, 1 and root 2. So you can see that clearly if you apply Pythagoras, you're getting hypotenuse as 2. So here the use of these two triangles is to basically predict the basic angle, like sine 30 is, if you see, opposite over hypotenuse, which is 1 over 2. Suppose if I wanted to predict sine 30, it is 1 over 2. Cos 60 is, once again, it is 1 over 2. If anybody asks you what is the basic value of tan 30, so base value of tan 30 is opposite over adjacent, so 1 over root 3. So if you use this unit circle effectively, you can basically get the at least the basic angles without calculator. So you need to know this, you need to remember these two triangles. Suppose if I ask you what's the value of sine 45, so you will say 1 upon root 2 straight away. Cos 45, 1 upon root 2. Tan 45, 1 upon 1. So these two triangles help immensely, like sometimes you might have studied in SAT also, that these two triangles are very specific and they are used extensively. Now coming to the angles that are along x-axis. So like what if my angle is 0, 180 or 360, or for that matter along any angle along y-axis. Now for example, if you got 90, 270 and so on. So how do we tackle those angles? How do you find out the sine and cos ratio of those? So first thing is that if you look at the unit circle, here is angle 0, this is 90, this is 180, 270, 360, 450 and so on. And here like once you take one rotation, this is 360 done, then you add 360 plus 90, 450, 360 plus 180, 540. So you get basically, you can get the sine, cos, tan, sine and cos of these two angles using just the unit circle. And once you have sine and cos, you can easily find out the value of tan. So how do we find out, let's say if I have to find out the value of sine 0. So if you look at sine 0, sine is the x coordinate, y coordinate. So sine 0 is, the angle is here. So here, this coordinate is 1, 0, this is 0, 1. Here is negative 1, 0. This is 0, negative 1. So basically, if I look at sine 0 is basically 0. Then you got sine 90 is 1. Sine 180 is 0. Sine 270 is negative 1. Sine 360 is 0. Sine 450 is again 1. Sine 540 is 0. If you go clockwise, so in this case if I go clockwise here, the angle is negative 1. So sine of negative 90. So suppose negative 90 means you have gone here by 90 degrees. So in that case you see the y coordinate is negative 1. So at least the sine can be easily obtained by just looking at the y coordinate. And if I wanted to find out cos can be obtained by looking at the x coordinate. So if I wanted to find out, let's say cos 0. Now cos 0 angle is along x axis here. So cos 0 angle is along x axis. So for that, this answer is going to be 1. So cos 0 is straight away 1. Now when you look at cos 90, so cos 90 if you look at is also 0. So cos 90 is basically 0. Cos 180, now it is here. So that's your negative 1. So 180 angle is positive 180. So this is the angle. So cos of 180 will be negative 1. So cos of 180 that you see is negative 1. Then you come as cos of 270. So cos of 270 will be the angle along y-axis, which is 0. So the only reason you're seeing here, if you see very interesting trend, is any angle that is along x-axis has its y coordinate 0, and that's why sine is 0. So if you have an angle along x-axis, sine of that angle will be 0. If you have any angle along y-axis, since you measure y along the x-axis, I mean the x distance, so you can see this is the x distance. So if you're along y-axis, your x distance is 0 because you can see x is always 0 along y-axis. So any angle that is along y-axis, any angle that is along y-axis means 90, 270, minus 90, minus 270, they all will have cosine as 0. And sine will be either 1 or minus 1 along y-axis. And in contrast of that, if you look at any angle along x-axis, cos will be 1 or minus 1 and sine will be always 0. So from here we come to a very interesting outcome. The outcome is that if I look at a simple observation or simple formula that we have got, is if you have to solve for sine x is, let's say 0, where is sine x 0, let's say. So sine x is gonna be 0 along n pi, or you can say pi is 180 here. So just quick recap on degrees to radian conversion. I'm assuming that we are all knowing. So if you want to convert degrees to radian, multiply by pi by 180, and radians to degree, multiply by 180 by pi. So degrees to radians, pi by 180, radians to degrees, 180 by pi. So wherever your sine x is 0, x is the multiple of pi. So it means that x, if I'm solving, x can be 0, pi, n can be any number which is positive or negative integers. So 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, minus pi, minus 2 pi, minus 3 pi, and so on. So if any angle is along along x-axis, these are the angles along x-axis, and it continues. It stops, it continues. So if sine x is 0, it will be 0 along n pi. Similarly, if you are solving cos x as 0, so cos x is 0 along x is basically pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2. So all the odd multiples of 90. So 90, this is 270. Pi by 2 is basically pi is equivalent to 180. So this is 270 and so on. So the basic angle that you're seeing here is nothing but the odd multiples of 90. So if you see the sequence 1, 3, 5, if I write down this in general, it is, if I write down nth term formula for this, u1 plus n minus 1 times difference. So you get 1 plus 2n minus 2, that's a 2n minus 1. So all the cos angles will be 0 when x is 2n minus 1 upon, you can say 2 times pi. So this is odd multiple of pi. So 2n minus 1, if you take n as 0, you get negative pi by 2. If you take n as 1, you get 2 minus 1 times pi by 2, so which is pi by 2 itself. So, and if you take n as 2, it will be 3 pi by 2 and so on. So any odd multiples of 90 degrees will always have cosine as 0. And any angle that is along x-axis, their sine is going to be 0. So this is at least the basic part of the basic, or you can say preliminary part of the unit circle. Now I'll just touch base upon the next part. Which is how do you find out the angles that are like, for example, let's say, how do you find out the value sine of 120, cos of 120, sine 240, cos 240, and so on. So when you're finding the values of these angles, so let's say if you have sine of 120, so sine of 120, firstly you measure where is the angle, where is your approximate position of the angle. So approximate position of the angle basically is here. So sine of 120, if you notice, is this angle. So this is your 120 degrees. Now 120 degrees, actually if I'm measuring the sine of this particular angle, now this actually length that I'll be using to measure or to write on the value will be this distance. So this is cos of 120 and this is sine of 120. So cos 120 and sine 120, see 120 we can't directly find out. So what we prefer is either you take 120 degree or you prefer to take this base angle which is 60 degrees, which is along with x-axis. So whenever you're finding out sine of 120 or any obtuse angle or reflex angle, always remember that try to find out base angle. Now base angle is the angle written with x-axis. So suppose if I have an angle here, let's say this is 240 degrees. So 240 is here. So in this case, my base angle is basically 60 degrees. So if base angle is 60 degrees, what does it mean is I can write down cos 240 in terms of this angle, which is nothing but 60 degrees. So if I have, let's say 120 degree, cos of 120 is going to be, blindly you can say it will be same as cos of 60. Sine of 120 is blindly going to be same as sine of 60. But the problem here is that your angle is in second quadrant. Now if your angle is in second quadrant, you notice that x coordinate is going to be negative. So that's why cos of 120 is negative cos 60. Because any angle that is in second quadrant, its x coordinate is negative and you measure cos ratio on x coordinate. So that's why cos of 120 is negative cos 60, which is negative half, you can say. Because if you use that units in the triangles that I had drawn, that's how you get it. Sine of 120 is sine 60. Blindly you can say this is going to be root 3 by 2. So this distance, this coordinate of this point, if you find out, it is going to be negative half comma root 3 by 2. So that's how you kind of predict the ratios. For sine, we have the general convention as we know, ASTC rule. In the first quadrant, all the ratios are going to be positive. In second quadrant, only sine is positive. That's why you can see cos you got is negative. In any angle in third quadrant, we'll have tan negative, tan positive, and any quadrant, any angle in the fourth quadrant will have the cos positive. So this is like basic rule or basic what you can say is the I can say foundation by which you find out the angles. Let's just take this angle. Now for example, if I'm finding out sine 240. Now sine 240, ideally that distance is nothing but this. Sine is measured along y. So instead of taking this 240 in any context, I'm going to just use this angle, 60 degrees. So always try to find out the base angle, which is the angle with the x-axis, angle made with the x-axis. So if you're looking at, let's say 240 here, 240 is not the actual angle that you have. So you can just take 60 degree as the base angle. So sine 240 or sine 60, they are going to be the same. But just you have to be careful about whether their numerical signs are positive or negative based on which quadrant they are. So if I'm measuring an angle in third quadrant, now according to this only tan is positive. So if I'm finding out sine 240, blindly you can say because the base angle here is 60 degrees. So sine 240 is same as sine 60. Cos 240 is going to be same as cos 60. Tan 240 is going to be same as tan 60. So cos 240 is same as sine 60, sine 240 is same as sine 60, cos 240 is same as cos 60, tan 240 is same as tan 60. But still we are not done yet. So since in the third quadrant only tan is positive, only tan you can see is positive. So sine 240 is going to be sine 60, which is nothing but root 3 by 2, but it will be negative. So sine 240 is negative sine 60. Cos 240 is negative cos 60, which is negative half. And tan 240 is tan 60, which you can find out using the triangle is basically square root of 3. So this is how you kind of tackle and understand at least like the basic unit circle and approach the problem in kind of meaningful way.